Hello, good evening, everyone. Just going to run some quick tests and we will start soon. Just make sure that everything is working. Just going to check if Instagram is all right. Can you guys hear me okay? Thanks, Eva. Thanks, Jose. Just going to check in YouTube. Instagram. I think it's all good. Camera. Just the camera there. I think that's better. Yeah, all right. Yeah, thank you guys. I'm just going to put the link in Instagram. So if those ones in Instagram, if they want to join Google Meet, they will be able to join. I'll put in the comments in Instagram. And also I'm going to put the comments in YouTube. Yeah, I think it's all good now. All right, so thank you very much, guys, for your patience. And welcome to live number 3 of the workshop Engineer Journey 2025, where I hope that after tonight, you'll be able to start your process to become an engineer here in Australia, understanding everything about the documentation that's needed and the process that you need to do to apply for your recognition to become an engineer here in Australia. Sometimes it can be a little bit daunting, a little bit more difficult, but I'm pretty sure that with patience and focusing on what needs to be done, you will also be successful in becoming an engineer in Australia. So I prepared my PowerPoint presentation and I will share with you guys. Let me see, how can I share this one? Let's see if we can, how we do this. Yeah, all right. So it looks like it appears to be much better now. Yeah. And thank you again for coming back. I can recognize some of you guys from the previous two live sessions and some new ones. So just for us to get a little bit of engagement, if you haven't attended live number 1 or live number 2, you started today. Can you maybe just write in the comments me, and then I know that you just joined the workshop today. If you attended live number 1, if you can write 1. If you attended live number 1 and 2, obviously attending now as well. So yeah, just type the number of the lives that you attended, live number 1, live number 2, or live number 3. So I know if you attended all of them and attending the third one now as well. I keep saying that adults, we learn by engaging, by participating, and you will see that I will be asking you guys in some parts of the live for us to engage. I'm going to ask you some questions because the more you pay attention, the more you absorb, the more you learn. And the more you learn about the validation process, the easier it's going to be for you to complete your validation process. Okay, so let's have a look who's, yeah, João, live number 1 and 2, and now number 3, Eva number 2, Gabriel 1 and 2, Net number 2, Lucas just today, first time, yeah, welcome. That's good. It's never too late. Kleber number 2. The important thing that you guys are here. And Jose, the third time. Very well done. You guys are heroes because it's not really easy to keep listening my voice. Live number 1 was 1.5 hours. Yet last night was also about 1.5 hours. So, and tonight is going to be another 1.5 hours. So, with you guys engaged and listening and paying attention, we will start our closing live session of the workshop. And for those ones that haven't done yet, just going to remind you that you still have time to participate in the draw. I'm going to be giving away tonight 15 minutes of free consulting. And it's very easy. You just need to go to my post, and the QR code is with my post in there. I'm just going to show you the post of the 15 minutes of free consulting. What you need to do, you just need to like the post, follow my profile, mark another engineer in the comments, and write also in the comments, I will become an engineer in Australia. And you got to be present during tonight's live session when the website picks someone. You just need to go to this post here, and that's the post for the 15 minutes of free consulting in my profile. So very easy. We got already some people that they in the running to win the 15 minutes of free consulting, and I will be loading the comments, and the website will pick somebody. And then once the website picks somebody, I'll check if the person did everything, and then I will declare the winner or not. If the person hasn't done it or the person is not here present, I will do a redraw, and the website will pick somebody else until we can find somebody. Okay? And then the 15-minute session will be next week, probably Monday or Tuesday. During the evening, I'm going to do an Instagram live session, and then obviously I'm going to talk with the winner. And then we share the screen, and the person is going to ask me questions. I'm going to be answering the questions, and that's going to be during the live session. So more people can be benefited by the answers, because your question could be somebody else's question as well. Well, good. So yeah, if you haven't done yet, that's you got some probably about an hour until I do the giveaway. So you can go to my profile and just follow those few steps. So what are we going to see tonight in live number 3? Very soon, and I saw that Rafael already joined us, which is good. Yeah, good evening, Rafael. We're going to have a chat with Rafael Sobreira. He's from B2A Migration, and he's going to talk about migration options for engineers. Rafael, I'm going to introduce him properly later on, but he's a migration consultant. He lives in Brazil, but he used to live here in Australia. He knows a lot about Australia. He's traveled all around the country here in Australia. He knows a lot, and it's been already 3 years that B2A migration and was 7 migration Brazil, and became B2A migration Brazil to Australia migration, I think, Rafael. And he's very experienced, and certainly a person that you need to talk to, because as I keep saying, it's always important to have a migration plan. Talk to somebody that understands about migration options, and then once the option is, you select which option that you want to go to, then you need to put effort to achieve that objective. And if your objective and if your option is to migrate to Australia as an engineer, obviously I'm here to help you in my content. I've got more than 300 videos in my YouTube channel about the validation process, how to get a job in Australia as an engineer. But I also have a mentoring program, which I'm going to open a new group today. I can help you to become an engineer in Australia. So very soon, Rafael will be joining us, and we'll have the pleasure to hear what will be the options for engineers in terms of migration. And then I will be talking with you hints and tips to prepare a successful application, a successful CDR application. For those that joined today, CDR means Competency Demonstration Report. So The booklet from Engineers Australia has all the information that you need to do your application, but it doesn't really have the hints and tips for you to prepare a successful application. And that's what I'm going to give to you guys. And what else we're going to what else you're going to see? And well, obviously I'm going to open the validation formula mentoring group, and we're going to do the giveaway for the 15 minutes of free consulting. And if you have any questions, yeah, please put in the comments, and we'll be answering those ones. There's a question here: is this session useful for someone who is already registered as a professional engineer, has done a skills assessment in Engineers Australia? Well, if you have done already your skills assessment, um, I can say that it is useful, because if your next step if your next step is to become a chartered professional engineer with Engineers Australia, the hints and tips that I'm going to give tonight, it's also useful for those engineers that are already a member of Engineers Australia and want to become a chartered professional engineer. So, because when you try to become a chartered professional engineer, you also need to write few things, and as you've written as a career episode. So it's up to you if you want to stay or not, but I believe there will be some benefits, obviously benefits from hearing from Rafael as well. And what's happening on Saturday? Why did I put this slide? Oh yeah, because tonight I'm going to open a new group of my validation formula mentoring group, and I'm going to give you guys a very special offer that's going to expire on Saturday evening, 11:59 p.m. Brisbane time. That's going to expire, and then it goes to the normal standard conditions for my mentoring program. Okay. So a quick review before we ask Rafael to join us. These are the CDR steps. Remember, for those ones that attended live number 1, you've probably seen this slide as well already. But those ones that didn't attend live number 1, just attended live number 2 and tonight, you probably haven't seen this one. The CDR process, competency demonstration report, is a very simple process. It's just got 6 steps. However, it's not very easy. It's not very easy because you need to organize a lot of documentation, you need to organize yourself, and you need to write reports. Total will be 5 reports. And each report will have obviously a large number of words, especially career episodes and the summary statement. You have a large number of words. So we're talking about probably almost like 10,000 words in between the career episodes and the summary statement. So that's why it's not very easy. But when you know what to do and how to do it, it becomes easier. So step number 1 will be your personal information. Personal information, it's your passport, photo, your identification. It could be your national ID card or your passport page. If you change your name, whatever change of name document you have, could be your marriage certificate or your change of name certificate, your CV and resume, and your English test results. And the test results needs to be at least, there's a minimum score for each of the 4 bands: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So depending on the test, you need a minimum score. Step number 2 is to choose the category and the occupation. The categories you will find the professional engineer, the engineering technologist, and the engineering associate. And the occupations is going to be, I believe now it's called OSCA, is the occupation, a standard classification, I think, of occupations there. So it's from the Australian government, where for each engineering occupation, there will be a definition. So for civil engineer, you will have a set definition that you will need to comply with. So you need to choose what occupation you want to apply for. So that's step number 2. There is a category called engineering manager. It's just for migration purposes. It's not, if you're successful with validating as engineering manager, you can use for migration purposes, but you are not going to be eligible to become a member of Engineers Australia. As the title says, engineering manager. Engineers Australia is for engineers, but engineering managers, they can be validated by Engineers Australia just for migration purposes. Step number 3 will be, sorry, step number 3 will be your academic documentation. So your bachelor degree, so your engineering degree, your post-graduation, your academic transcripts, master's degree, specialization courses, any other relevant academic documentation that you may have. Step number 4 is about your skilled employment. If you are going to use work experience in your career episodes, you will need reference letters from your employers. So you will need those evidences. If you're going to apply for the RSCA, the Relevant Skilled Employment Assessment, which is usually known as to validate your work experience for you to get more points, you will also need your reference letters from your employers. Step number 5 would be then the reports. There are 3 types of reports. The first type is your CPD, Continuing Professional Development, where you're going to report in a list form all the professional development events that you had, your training, your participation in workshops, webinars, conferences, private study, voluntary service, meetings that you participated and you learned, technical inspections, technical visits, and those sort of things. Another type of report will be your career episodes. You need to choose 3 experiences, engineering experiences, and can be academic experiences, can be work experiences, or can be both together, academic and work experiences. And then from that, you need to choose 3 and write 1 career episode for each experience. And in that career episode, it's where you're going to narrate your engineering, the fundamentals, all the calculations. You have your evidences like photos, pictures, tables, screenshots, those sort of things. And then the third type of report is going to be your summary statement. And the summary statement is a document that Engineers Australia requires, where it has all the 16 competencies that Engineers Australia asks you to demonstrate. You have to write why you believe you demonstrated those competencies and where in the career episodes it's demonstrated that you addressed those competencies by putting the paragraph numbers there. And then step number 6 is going to be your application. You will generate or create an Engineers Australia identification number, and then you will upload your documents. You will pay the fee to Engineers Australia, which is today's around $1,000 for the standard skills assessment. And the work experience, the RSCA, I think it's another, in a standard process, if you pay another $350, you can apply for fast track. and Engineers Australia will finalize your process quicker. It could be 1 week, 2 weeks, few days. Spread your approval. So hopefully you will be approved. So in a nutshell, that's the 6 steps for the validation process. Okay, and now we will invite Raphael. Yeah. So I'll see if I need to do something there.
Morning, Jackson.
Good morning. I'll stop presenting.
Yep.
So your image gets bigger. And I think, do I need to do anything else? Probably not. I forgot to advise you guys that we will be recording, especially because some people they asking to get the replay. So don't know why it didn't start when we started, but anyway. Yeah. So it's recording now. Yeah. All right. So good evening, Raphael, and thanks for your time, your availability. I can see that there's looks like a beautiful morning in Brazil, and I would like to welcome you, and ask you to introduce yourself. We've got a number of engineers from different places, lots of engineers from Brazil as well. And if you can then introduce yourself and give us some, what would be the options for engineers in terms of migration, and if people have questions, I think you're more than happy for them to ask you questions.
Yeah. So let's go. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Gerson. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be here talking to your future students. Uh, One thing that I always say is Australia is a great country, guys, and Australia recognizes engineers in pretty much all the occupation lists. When we come here to talk about immigration, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Rafael Sobreda. I've lived in Australia for more than 15 years. I got my citizenship. I'm a former environment engineer, but I changed my career into migration. And today I help people like you to become a permanent resident in Australia. And when I say become, there are few steps to achieve when your dream is getting a permanent residence in Australia. So I'm not going to be taking much of your time because you have a lot of homework to do with Gerson. But my message here today is if you're willing to move to Australia to work as an engineer, you are on the right path. Why is that? Because, like I said, Australia recognizes all kind of engineers. It's not that simple to say because you have few steps to follow in order to achieve your dreams. But when you have someone like Gerson guiding you through the steps with Engineers Australia, it makes easier for you to understand the process of the skill assessment, which is very important to you to undertake those steps before you applying for the next visa. A lot of people try to do this process in Australia. A lot of people are trying to do this process in your home country. But the main goal is to get this skill assessment approved. Some of the criteria of the skill assessment, Jess already spoke with you guys as an English requirement, as uh, have finished 35 years at least of an engineer in your home country or in Australia, and also other things if you want to gain some work experience. The main goal is to pop the champagne at the end of the day with your skill assessment outcome letter. And when you have this skill assessment outcome letter, you have different options of migration programs to follow. It's not, I'm not saying that Australia is going to give you a visa straight away, but Australia opens the opportunities for engineers. When we talk about the employer sponsored visas, 482, 186, 494, your occupation must be on the CISO list or the program list. And when we say engineer, pretty much civil engineer, draft person, mechanic engineer, diesel motor mechanic engineer, it's on the migration list. So you have an easy way to achieve your permanent visa in Australia. But employer sponsored visa requires that the company sponsor you. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of those conditions. I believe that you know at least a little bit about the migration pathway because you're studying with your skill assessment. But employment sponsorship is pretty much finding an occupation, a professional occupation as an engineer, as the occupation that you are following from your home country, the occupation that you have work experience, and gain the opportunity to work for a company in Australia. For A2, you have to work at least for 2 years in order to transit to the permanent visa 186. 494, you have 5 years where in 3 years you can change as well for the permanent visa. I don't want to be complex here, but if you have a skill assessment, if you find a job position in your occupation in Australia, if you have an employer which is willing to sponsor you, you have a migrant pathway to achieve your permanent visa in Australia. Most of the time, you're gonna go for the 482, which is a temporary sponsored visa, and then you're gonna transit to a permanent resident visa. Working as an engineer in Australia, it's a great quality of life because the wages are pretty good. You have conditions to work, you have fair work as well, and you have opportunity to grow inside of the big companies in Australia. I'm gonna open some questions for the employee sponsor visa, but before that, I want to say as well about the skill independent visa, which is one of the most desirable programs that everyone wants to have an invitation from the federal government or from the states or the territories in Australia because you don't have to find a work. You have to be eligible through the criteria of the programs, which is having your skill assessment, having a good score on your English, have some work experience, having also an education, and then you're gonna put an expression of interest on the system, which is the EOI, the famous EOI. And when comes the round of invitations from those programs, you are going to be invited to apply for a visa, not for a job. 189 gives you the permanent residence straight away. 190 gives the permanent residence straight away. And 491, you get a temporary visa, then you can change for the permanent visa. As I said, there are some criteria that I'm not going to open here because I hope to talk with you after you completing your skill assessment to plan your migration pathway into Australia. Age can be a factor, English level can be a factor, work experience can be a factor, find a sponsor can be a factor, but we are here to help you in order to achieve your dreams, your goal. As Gerson mentioned before, you have the booklets for everything, but it's up to you to understand the information that is written there. Gerson, I just want to say a quick open view of the migration programs that engineers are eligible after skill assessment to gain some residence in Australia, especially for the sponsor visa, especially for the skill independent visa. I cannot share my screen here with you guys, but as soon as that you finish your skill assessment with Gerson, B2A Migration is giving away a free consultation for you, which means we're going to sit down, we're going to open your resume, we're going to open your skill assessment, we're going to open all the criteria of the visas, and we're going to put a plan on. And this plan is something that you can follow in a way. Of course, sometimes we have some change, political change, economical change, but most of the times, if you follow the plan, you're going to achieve your visa in Australia. You can enter into Australia using a working holiday visa, a student visa, but most of the times we have engineers going to Australia on a permanent visa. Okay, I'm not selling a dream here. I'm just selling experience and telling you guys that it's possible. But it's up to you to make this happen because I cannot make this happen in a way for you. I can help and support you as my company and also Gerson with the skill assessment. But it's up to you to make your dream become reality. Gerson, I'm gonna open for a few questions here, but the main message here is, guys, go ahead, follow our company, become Gerson students, conclude your skill assessment with Indonesia Australia, and before you pop the champagne, talk with us. You're gonna get a free consultation. It's 1 hour consultation where we're gonna explore everything that we can through your profile and your criteria in order to help you to get your permanent residency. Any questions, Gerson? Should I say something else? I'm just a bit rusty with my English because it's early morning here in Brazil. I already had 3 cups of coffee. The kids went to school. But if you guys have any questions, I'm more than welcome to answer in a general way. Gerson, I cannot see if there is any questions. If you can guide me on that.
Yeah, I will. If you guys have any question, yeah, put in the comments. I will ask you one question. Do you,
Yes.
out of the different, obviously, cities and regions here in Australia, obviously Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane because they the big centers.
Yes.
Uh, it appears to be that when engineers they go to outside of Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, they have better chances to get invited for a visa.
Well, Jason, it depends of which kind of engineer we are talking about. It depends of your resume. But most of the times, what we found here is Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne. They are the biggest cities in Australia. They are the cities with the money, let's say that. But Perth also, it's one of the greatest cities that you can find because it is inside of Western Australia, the richest state in Australia with a lot of mining. So it depends which kind of engineering that you are looking for in terms of occupations to gain a visa. But most of the time, if you have a nice CV, if you have a cover letter, reference, if you have maybe perhaps a portfolio, um, a job hunter that can help you out to find a job when you're offshore or onshore, it's going to be up to you to deal with the Department of Human Management to get the opportunity to have an interview. But most of the times, what I see as a former engineer, I would say that Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide. Also, we are seeing now that Sunshine Coast, other cities that are called regionals, they are growing up, and especially now with the house crisis in Australia.
Mm,
We had a live before me and Gerson, and something that we discussed is it's not just because it's, let's say, Australia, it's looking for trades occupations. Engineer, it's pretty much involved with all those
yeah,
trade occupations. So you're going to find engineers positions everywhere. Uh, let's say, Jackson, I think it's easier to explain like that. If today I'm in Brazil. I have my graduation. I have some work experience. My English level, it's okay to get a 6 on IELTS because it's one of the criteria of the Engineers Australia. What will be my options to migrate to Australia? First of all, I would create a nice resume, a resume with a lot of reference, cover letter. I would engage myself in networking because I can see a lot of people today getting opportunities from a friend, from a meeting that he went to. And then from there, I start applying for those job positions. Of course, you'll find a lot of job positions available, but some of the time the company wants give you the sponsor. They want to see how you work. If you have a lot of work experience, it could be different. But those that have 2, 3 years of work experience, sometimes the company will invite
yeah,
you for a training visa. The company will ask you to be in Australia with a legal visa that you can work, so at least they can see you working. And from there, you can explore your options to go to the employer sponsor visa. But at the same time, on the same way, if you have the skill assessment, if you have a good score, because you need a nice, at least more than 65 points to express your interest in the skilled independent visas, you can put your expression of interest and wait as well, offshore or onshore. So you have pretty much a lot of possibilities to gain a visa in Australia through engineering. But it's going to be up to you and the migration plan that you're going to be open up with your consultant or with your company that you want to achieve. I think someone made a question.
Yeah, Nat was saying that he couldn't see, he or she can't see, couldn't see opportunities for telecommunication engineers in Perth.
Yeah, it depends of the state. So,
Yeah,
like I said, it depends of the kind of occupation that you are validating your skill assessment. You must look for the place that that occupation is on demand. Some states they're not gonna be inviting telecommunication engineers. Other states they will. Civil engineer, it's more generic. Structural engineer, mechanical engineer, plant and operating engineer. So it depends where is your focus and which sort of like company you are seeking to gain a sponsor or the state that are inviting that occupation in specific.
yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, Rafael, and I hope that it gave yeah, our audience a little bit more information on options that yeah, different types of visas. Obviously, depends on each person's profile, as you said, in terms of experience, work experience, age, your past experience, and what you want to do, where you want to live. So I always say
And
to people that you, yeah, the companies like yours will help people to open up new
the lack of
probably
opportunity.
options,
Yeah.
because I keep saying you got
Hmm.
to find the option that's going to be the easiest option for you to get a visa. Once
Yeah.
you get a visa, then you can try to. Yesterday, somebody was saying, should I apply? What if I apply for an engineer and Engineers Australia offering me a technician level? And I said,
Yeah.
well, when you talk to the migration people, if they say that as a technician you can get a visa, yeah, go for it. Accept the
Yeah.
technician, get your application, get your visa. Once you get your visa, you it's
Then
much
you can
easier for
become
you
an
to
engineer.
start working, and then you can become an engineer later on. So
Yeah.
whatever way
Right.
is going to be easier for you to get your visa, go for it.
Something to bear in mind, guys, is age. Most of the programs they will have age limit of 45 years on your application. As I can see here, the faces, pretty much everyone is young here, so you might have time enough to apply for a PR visa under 45 years. English, you must have an English to submit with Engineers Australia, which is the competent English. But you can work a little bit more, let's say, and achieve a proficient English or superior English. The difference will be in the type of program that you're going to be using your English proficiency, because for the sponsors, you don't need a high level of English. But for the skill independent visa, for your points, you need more score on your English so you can get more points to add on your dossier. So there are few things that we discuss during a consultation, which is going to open up your leg. We're going to open here the best ways to try to achieve a temporary visa or also, let's say, a permanent visa. Where are the best opportunities? But you have Gerson here, which works as an engineer in Australia for for the government. He knows to be more than 20 years. Also, right, Gerson, that you've been working with as an engineer in Australia, a lot of people that you might have met, a lot of people that you might have worked with. So networking it's also important for you guys and be guided from people that has the work experience, the life experience. make totally different. Because sometimes there are people saying you have to do this and that, but on the main time, it doesn't work like that. You have to face all the planning, you have to see all the challenge in order to get your goal, your dreams up that it's living in Australia. But as I said before, if you have the opportunity, if you are here, you're making a great step. Follow the all the way, let's say, with Jersey to get your skill assessment approved. After that, you get a free consultation with our team. You're gonna open up your lack of opportunities, of possibilities, and then you're gonna have a migrate plan to follow to achieve your permanent visa in Australia. I think there's another question,
Yeah,
Gerson.
there's a question there. Lucas is asking, hi, Rafael. Is there any state in Australia I could apply for a skilled visa if I'm not working as a civil engineer? I've heard that in
Well, if you
Perth you can, but just in WA. Is this information correct?
All right, Lucas. It depends where you are, okay? When you talk about the skill independent visa, there are some criteria for offshore applicants or onshore applicants, okay? You must know the criteria of the state. WA, Western Australia, when we talk about Perth in specific, you have the opportunity to put your expression of interest being offshore of Australia or being in an older state in Australia without having work experience. But work experience might affect your punctuation, your points. So you have to pay attention on that. Some other states, when we talk about the skill independent visa, you must follow the rules of the state. You must be living here for at least 3 months to apply to put your expression of interest for the 941. You must be living for at least 6 months to put your expression of interest for the 190. You must be working on your occupation or related occupation from the past 6 months, at least 30 hours a week. It depends of the criteria. The bad thing right now is the states are closing up the invitations rounds because we're gonna have the change of the financial year on the 1st of July. And the good thing is, by the time that you finish your skill assessment with Gerson, let's say here 3 months, 4 months, depends how fast you work, or even you can do this in a week with Engineers Australia to have all the documents ready to go. You're gonna get the states open up with the new criteria and with the new quotas. So it's going to be even better to plan your future in Australia because you might be receiving an invitation at the end of this year if you are in Australia or outside of Australia. Of course, we cannot guarantee, but it makes your pathway for a skill independent visa easier. Usually, the points for engineers are a little bit higher than other occupations, like Jessica was saying before. Sometimes it's easier to follow a different occupation that you are eligible than go with your current occupation. Why is that? Because engineer in Australia, civil engineer, let's say, they are inviting with 85 points. But when you get a technical draft person engineer or architecture draft person, those occupations that are related, but you don't need to have a bachelor degree. You can have a vocational course, which sometimes you can fulfill with your bachelor degree. You can apply your expression of interest for those occupations, and they are being invited with 65 points or 75 points. The good thing about the 189, 190, and 491, when you receive the invitation to apply for the visa, you don't need necessarily to work with that occupation. You can change your
Yeah.
occupation when you're in Australia. So if you are invited as a civil draft person, when you go to Australia, have your visa approved, you can become a civil engineer in Australia, following all these steps. But people do that because it's easier in a way. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to do this or that, but I'm just saying that sometimes we open some ideas for the clients, things that they cannot see because they believe that's going to be very hard to find a work position, a sponsor, or an invitation from the skill independent program, where we can make that easier, explain all the steps. Another question, Gerson?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's one question.
yeah,
There's a couple of questions in Instagram.
yeah.
Uh, uh, Prof. JMC is asking, is it easier to apply in Perth?
Well, Is applying for which type of visa? That's the question.
Yeah.
If you go for the sponsor visa, Perth sometimes won't have a lot of jobs positions available as Brisbane right now, Queensland, because Queensland is changing up for the Olympic Games in 2032. A lot of engineers are requesting in Brisbane right now
Yeah.
because of those structure changing for the city. But Perth, which is the richest, let's say, city state in Australia, they're inviting trades occupations or occupations that work with constructions to move to the state, and they're even paying for that relocation. So it depends. It's a bit hard to answer that, but it depends of your goal and what you're looking for.
Yeah. The other question from Joe Buck. Hi, Rafael. Once I finish my CDR with Gerson, can you help review my application and submit to Engineers Australia? I can probably answer that.
Yeah,
If you do my mentoring, you will do everything correct. Usually, it doesn't need even to be
yeah,
reviewed, but I usually have a look at the application and usually not really a lot of changes. I
yeah,
make some comments and some feedback, and you will be able to apply yourself with Engineers Australia. In my mentoring program, I actually have a tutorial how to apply with where you got to click and what you need to do to apply in the portal. But the other question that Joe was asking, probably for you, Rafael, and later support me with the permanent visa. What's the cost and how
yeah.
can I contact you?
Sure. So Jason has explained already the first question. I truly believe that Jason is capable to help you to get your skill assessment approved. Okay, that's why I'm here, and that's why we have this partnership between Jason and B2A Migration. Like I said, after you finishing your skill assessment with Jason, you are getting a free consultation with me, where we're gonna plan ahead your future in Australia. I don't know you, Joe, to be honest. I don't know your age or work experience, but we're gonna put this everything on paper and we're gonna put some actions for you to follow.
Yeah, and you can contact Rafael. I put in the comments and both in Instagram in the comments in Instagram, Rafael's Instagram profile there, the B2A migration profile. You can send him a message there, direct message, and he will contact you and get all the details there. All right. Yeah, thanks, Rafael. I don't want
You're
to
welcome.
take up much of your time. You're a very busy man, and the day is just starting for you. So you probably have
Yes.
lots and lots of things to do today still. But yeah, I would like to certainly thank you very much for your time, your availability, the valuable information that you gave to us.
Now
And
that's great, Jason.
make
I'm
sure that
really
you
happy.
guys contact Rafael and
Yeah.
yeah, he'll be able to help you have a plan. It's always
Yeah.
important to have a plan. Remember, guys, you got to have a plan. Once you have a plan, you just got to focus and achieve that objective.
And like I said, Australia needs engineers. And this is pretty much all the time. Kleber, is there any age limit time for Kleber? For the 482 visa, there is no age limit, but the main point is to transit to the 186 with the employer permanent visa. For the skill independent visa, unfortunately, you're not going to be entitled to apply after 45 years old. But there are a few options called DAMA. DAMA is designate areas in Australia. There are few damas, 13 damas to be exactly, and you can apply for those damas. It's pretty much to find a sponsor in a place where Australia needs and people like you to help the regional or the city to grow. And they do sort of like concessions. So if you are over 45, you can still eligible to apply until 50 or 55. It depends of the dama. So it's not the end of the day for you. There is path to follow, but we must have a shed before you find the exact plan for you to achieve your dreams. But Gerson, thank you very much for everyone that is here, willing to get a new bright future in Australia. We're more than
Yeah,
happy to help you, to guide you. And if you have any questions after the session, just add us on Instagram. I guess Gerson has also the company WhatsApp number. We are there to answer a few things before any consultation. But I hope to see you guys after you completing the skill assessment with Gerson. Don't pop the champagne yet, or just pop half the champagne because the other half I'll be popping with you guys when you
yeah,
get your assessment done, your a letter from the employer saying that you've been nominated for occupation and you are getting your visa in Australia, or an invitation from the federal government or the states in Australia. All right?
that's good. And for that, for those ones that they're ready to turn on the camera, let's do a screenshot so we can have a screenshot with Raphael. It's not
Oh, that's
easy to
great.
get Raphael with us, so it's an honor
That's
to
the
have
one.
him here. So I'm going to see if I
Let me
can.
just ask you one question. Lucas, by any chance, do you have any cousins in Perth?
You muted,
Because
Lucas.
Lucas is muted. Because you're, if I'm not sure, Hideko, it's your last name, right? Hideko.
Hi, hi, Jason.
Hello.
Um, no, my name is Lucas Hideo, but my surname is Hashimoto.
Ah,
All
okay,
right.
okay. Because
Yeah,
I know few people in Australia that has this last name, and especially in Perth. And when you ask about Perth, I was like, oh, it probably could be like I don't know, a cousin or something. But that's great, Lucas. It's nice to meet you.
All
nice to
right.
meet you too.
So big smile, and I will see if I can take a screenshot now.
There we
There.
go. All right, guys. I hope to see you all at the end of your skill assessment. Okay, and hopefully I
Yeah.
can see you all in Australia. And Jersey's gonna invite us for a nice barbecue at the beach. We're gonna eat some snacks,
Yeah. We
as in
will.
Australia they do, with ketchup and all those things, watching the sunset, the waves, and all those beautiful things that Australia has to provide to us. All right. Thanks,
Very
Gerson.
good.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Raphael. Thank you very much. We
Bye
catch
bye.
up. Yeah, so that was Raphael, and yeah, reach to him, guys, because he's really knowledgeable, and he's been helping lots and lots of people, not just engineers. If you have other people that are interested to come to Australia, even if they're not engineers, ask them to reach out to Raphael, and he'll be more than happy to help you and others as well. Okay, so we'll go back to my PowerPoint. And yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed the session. I like to bring somebody as a special guest, so you guys also have the information about other things that are interesting in terms of migration and how you can best use your time with validation and migration. And I already brought people to talk about PTE tests and those sort of things, etc. Okay, so now is going to be the hints to prepare a successful CDR. As I said in the booklet, Engineers Australia Migration Skills Assessment Booklet, you'll find everything that you need to know to do your application. What it doesn't have is some of the hints and tips, because I've been doing this and following up with engineers since 2011, pretty much. So it's been already 14 years that I see this day in, day out, and I've interviewed already lots and lots of engineers. I've assessed lots and lots of career episodes. So there's a lot of hints and tips that I can give to you to make sure that you don't make some mistakes that some engineers they do, and to make sure that you emphasize things that some engineers they forget to emphasize as well. So the hints and tips will be in your CV, the documentation as well, the reference letters from the employer, the reference letters from the university, in the CPD, in the career episodes, and in summary statements. So lots and lots of hints for all of those documents there. So in your CV, it's important that you have your CV, the experiences after your graduation. Especially if you are very experienced in the work experience, make sure that you have good details after your graduation, especially results. And if you think about using a particular engineering experience in your career episode, make sure that you include that engineering experience in your CV. As I said yesterday, no gaps, no gap periods after your graduation. So if you graduated, let's say in 2018, your CV gotta have everything between 2018 and now. Even if you haven't worked as an engineer, if you took a gap year and you traveled around the world, you need to include in that. And if you are in Australia and if you studying and working but not work as an engineer, you will need to include that in that period that you are studying and working in whatever you are working. An important tip if you recent graduated, to include the relevant academic experience. So because if you graduated just recently, you probably don't have work experience. If you don't have work experience, academic experience that you had during graduation, especially those ones that you're going to use in your career episodes. And include the referees from each employer or university with name, email, and phone. It's important to have that because sometimes Engineers Australia may contact the referees just to confirm few things that you put in your career episode. Some hints for the necessary documentation. In addition to the 6 steps that we've seen already, the 6 steps of the CDR, if you're using academic experience, you will need copy of the reports, projects, experiments, and so on. I think 9 out of 10 situations that I saw with engineers when they used academic experience, Engineers Australia usually asks you to send a copy of the report, to send a copy of your thesis, to send a copy of a particular project. They even say that you don't need even to translate. They just want to see that you actually did it. Sometimes the executive summary is already in English, so that's all right. But if you have your final assessment, in Brazil we call TCC, you just need to send that, because if you use the TCC in your career episode, they will read your career episode and they will see your TCC and they will see that, oh yeah, so the career episode came from that report. So that's why they don't even ask you to translate. Make sure that you have photos that you took. Make sure that you have diagrams, tables, calculation workouts, CAD screenshots, pictures. You know the technical standards, the number, the name that you used for those engineering experience, because those things, it's what they called engineering supporting documentation. So every time that you claim that you've done something, if you have evidence, if you have proof of that, it's always good to include in your career episode. Hints for reference letters. When you're using work experience or you're going to do RSEA, the Relevant Skilled Employment Assessment, you will need reference letters from your employers. So you got to make sure that it is in the company letterhead. In Brazil, we call papel timbrado. It's got to have the company name, the location, the start and finish dates. It's important that the start date is day, month, and year, and the finish date is day, month, and year. The title or position that you occupied, if it was a full-time, if it was part-time, for the qualification validation skills assessment, you don't need to have a salary base. If you're going to do RSEA, you need to have a salary base. So might as well just include your salary base. It could be weekly, fortnightly, monthly, annually, whatever. Just need to indicate. It's important also to have the minimum 5 main activities that you performed, including the projects that you're going to use in your career episode. And it has to be signed by your supervisor or your HR with contact details. Preferably in English. If you draft the letter and send to the company in English, you will be saving yourself the money for your translation. You could be saving $40, $50 just because the letter is in English, and then you don't need to translate that. Hints for the CPD, your continuing professional development. As I said yesterday, create your table, your CPD table now. You know, one A4 page, 5 columns, and start populating and recording your CPD events so you don't forget those events. If you start doing today, if you're just going to apply, let's say in 3, 4, 5 months' time, if you wait until you get ready in 4 or 5 months' time, you're probably going to forget a lot of things that you've done it, and you're not going to include in your CPD. So start recording now. Search for the free CPD events online. As I mentioned to you and I showed you yesterday, Engineers Australia also has free events. They have free webinars. They've got free face-to-face events as well. So you can attend those ones and include in your CPD. If you graduated more than 10 years ago, record at least one CPD event per year. It's important that you show Engineers Australia that every year you've been updating yourself. Focus on technical events. Some of the soft skill events can be used, but obviously if you have 20, 25 events, try to use most of it as technical events and some soft skills events. If you put majority of soft skill events and just a tiny bit of technical skills, you may end up with some trouble. And again, it's just only one page in the A4 size. Hints for the career episodes. Here are more than one page of the hints for the career episodes and summary statement. Always in the first person. I've seen many engineers that they start with the first person and then they forget about it and they start using we, us, etc. So it's not good because the career episode is about you. So it's always in the first person. Verbs, they need to be in the past tense. Remember what I said yesterday. The career episode is a narrative of the past. If the career episode is a narrative of the past, the verbs needs to be in the past tense. Include evidences, engineering evidences, always when you mention an engineering activity. As I mentioned in the previous slides, diagram, calculations, formulas, tables, photos, pictures, CAD drawings, softwares, standards, manuals, all of those things. Avoid the use of words like could or would, because could and would means that you could do that, I would do this, I could do that. It's wrong because competency is I've done it, I've completed, I've calculated, I've done already. You need to demonstrate that you've done it, not that you could do it. When using we, the team, our, or us, remember what I said yesterday? Describe the personal activities that you did. Nothing wrong to say that we as a team, we completed this project. However, my personal contribution was that I did this and I did that, etc. And avoid using very short paragraphs or very long. Not too short, not too long. In average, you should be writing about 100 to 150 words per paragraph. Some more hints for the career episodes. It's a good idea to use engineering problems as an experience in your career episodes. When you're thinking about the experience that you're going to use, to my students, I ask them to think about an engineering problem, because with the engineering problem, you can describe the problem resolution methodology that you used. What was the problem? Why did you have to solve it? Options for solutions. Why did you choose a specific option? What was your role in implementing the solution? And what were the results achieved? So the person assessing your application, it's probably going to be an engineer as well. And we engineers, we're very logic. We like to see the things progressing in a certain order. So a problem resolution method is very logic, very analytical. It fits the mentality of the engineer. Take care in using terminology according to the category you are applying for, so you don't undervalue yourself. And this is because we, as immigrants, English may not be our mother language. It's certainly not my mother language. My mother language is Portuguese. So sometimes, now probably a bit better, I can already probably think in English. I don't need to think in Portuguese and then translate to English. But a lot of us do. We think in our own language and then we try to translate to English. And some of the words and terminologies, sometimes we don't know a particular terminology, especially when they're technical, and we ended up adapting and using some of the words to say or to write about that meaning. And when you do that, sometimes you're undervaluing your activity, which means that instead of being a level of engineer, you could be writing yourself as a level of technology or even a technician. And the person from Engineers Australia doesn't know you. The person, he or she, will just know you from what you've written. And if you've written with a lower level, they will assess you in a lower level. So yeah, take care in using terminology. If you are in doubt, it's always a good idea to do some research, go to the dictionary, technical dictionary, go to the technical specifications or the technical standards, Australian standards, and familiarize yourself with the terminology in your field. And remember that the career episode is a narrative of the past. I keep saying that because you need to write about things that you've done. Hints for the summary statement. Start the summary statement just after you wrote all the 3 career episodes. I've seen people already writing summary statement even before they start writing the career episodes. Or they write 1 career episode and they do the summary statement. You can do whatever you want. I'm just giving hints from my observations, what is working the best. As I said, and I'm going to show you soon, I've got 40 students that already applied and all 40 students already been approved. So I can tell you what they did and what they did right. So they follow my methodology, and my methodology is you write all 3 career episodes. Once you write all 3 career episodes, you it's going to be very easy to write the summary statement. Read each of the 16 competencies and make sure you understood each word and its meaning. A lot of engineers, they don't read the booklet, or they just screen it. They read like very quickly and they start doing their application. And then when they get a negative result, they don't know why. Well, you got a negative result because you didn't study the booklet. The booklet is not just a magazine that you will read. You need to study. You need to understand. You need to understand the meaning of the words. You need to try to think what experience is going to be related to each word. And that's what I teach in my mentoring program. For each competency, I have a special module where I say, and where I give examples. If you've done this, you can use in this competency. In this competency, if you've done all of this or any of this, you can use in this competency. So it's easy for people to think, yeah, I've done that, so I will use in this competency here. So because this is one of the most difficult bits. How do I align my experience to a competency that is required by Engineers Australia? List all examples of your experience matching to each competency so you don't forget. Remember, 80% planning and organizing, 20% writing. If you don't organize yourself with your experiences and examples, you will get lost. Write at least between 75 and 150 words for each competency in the middle column. Remember that the summary statement has the competencies descriptions in the left-hand column. The middle column is where you need to write why you believe you addressed those competencies, and the right-hand column is going to be the number of the paragraph number, where it is located. So in the middle column, for each competency, try to write between 75 and 150 words as justification why you believe you achieved that competency. And avoid having just one paragraph number in the competencies. I've seen some people, some engineers, that they, in the right-hand column, where they had to put the paragraph number of that competency, just put one paragraph. That's crazy, because if you get that wrong, and if the assessor doesn't like that paragraph number, then you don't have any other paragraph number. So you're going to make sure that you've got quite a few paragraph numbers there. I think I've seen some questions there. Apprenticeship is important to put like experience. Yes, you can. Obviously, apprenticeship is not really, you cannot use to validate your work experience, because your work experience is just after you graduated. But in terms of your validation process for your skills, your degree, your qualification, you can use the apprenticeship experience, obviously, if they are aligned to the definition of your occupation. Ahmed say, I have 3 years of apprenticeship in France with Renault company. Is it important to put it as experience? As I said before, if the 3 years of apprenticeship was before your graduation, you potentially can use in your qualification validation, but not in your work validation. Rawal, my bachelor's degree is from Washington Accord. What are my procedures to apply EOI? I have only 2 years of experience. Now I'm doing master's degree in Australia. Yeah, unfortunately, that question is for a migration agent. I wouldn't really know how to answer that. Sorry. Gerardo Justo, is RSCA always a requirement to work as an engineer in Australia, or just a skills assessment? RSCA is not a requirement. You apply for the relevant skilled employment assessment if you want. Obviously, if you can get the many years of experience, whatever that is necessary, you will get more points. And the more points you have in the Australian immigration system, better is going to be the chances, or higher is going to be the chances for you to be invited to apply for the visa. So uh, even when you do a skills assessment, you don't need to do RSEA. You can just do a skills assessment. They're two separate processes. And net, are the reference letters mandatory? Well, they're mandatory if you are using work experience to write your career episode. Or if you're doing your RSEA, the relevant employment skill assessment, then the reference letters, they are mandatory. They actually called primary documents if you're doing RSEA. And then you will have your secondary documents, which is going to be your pay slips, your employment contract, your social security statements, your superannuation statements, your tax return, those sort of documents. They'll be your secondary documents. I will not be able to get them from my first jobs. Yeah, sometimes either the company has closed down, or I've seen some people saying, Jerson, do I really need the letter because I'm suing the company? And I don't believe the company is going to give me a reference letter because the person was suing the company legally. So I said, well, it's very important. If you cannot think about another experience from another company, maybe try to choose an experience from university. If you write about a work experience and if you don't present the reference letter, Engineers Australia will ask you a reference letter. So I'm just saying that it's really important. João Pedro, how does the Engineers Australia sees the way the engineer was employed? Is that relevant? You understand me? I mean, if CLT or CNPJ, is that relevant? No, it's not relevant, João. If you were self-employed or autonomous, or if you had your own company, the process is the same. The competencies are the same. You still got to write your CPD. You still have to write your career episodes. You still have to write your summary statement. It's just how you demonstrate the link between you and the company. So if you were on a CNPJ, it's because you were providing service to a customer. So the letter, instead of being the employer, got to be the letter from the customer. So, and now you just need to overcome procrastination and start, because it's pretty much, we saw the pathway or the pathways that you can choose to become an engineer according to the country and the year that you graduated. We saw the 6 steps for the CDR pathway. We saw the CPD report. We saw the career episode report. We saw the summary statement. We spoke about the risks of plagiarism. We spoke about the Engineers Australia internal review process. And I gave you lots and lots of hints for you to improve your CDR application. So now it's up to you guys. You just need to, I know that a lot of people will procrastinate, but you just need to start. And remember, 80% planning and organization and 20% writing. So for those ones that they need a little bit more help, and I can tell you, you can do it by yourself. You don't need to enter in my mentoring program. I have a full-time job. I don't leave because of my mentoring program. As I said, my last group was back in March. I don't do this all the time. I do the time to time because people start asking me. I work full time. I've got a very good salary. I dedicate some of my spare time to help other engineers because I know how difficult it is. And a lot of people, they ask me to do one-on-one consulting. I can tell you, I don't do one-on-one consulting because I don't have time. Now it's almost 10 p.m. and that's when I have spare time. So, but for those ones that they need a little bit more help, I have a mentoring program. In the beginning, I was doing live sessions on Saturday with my students, but then my wife started to complain, saying that I was spending too much time with my mentoring program and I wasn't spending time with family. So I had to record my classes. So my mentoring program, it's a step-by-step classes, 25 modules that you will watch the classes and you will ask me questions. I've got a WhatsApp and a Telegram group just for my students, and they ask me questions there. And once every 2 months, I do live classes for my students, and they ask me questions, and I'll explain everything. They're all part of the bonuses that I give. So I'm going to explain what is my mentoring program, how does it work. I'm going to give you guys a special offer tonight. How much will it cost? What's the warranty? And what are the benefits in doing that? And I'm going to share with you the audio that yesterday you couldn't hear, but today I think you will be able to hear what Erica sent me. It's just a 25-second audio message that she sent me. Looks like the moment that she got approved by Engineers Australia. How do I get that? No. It looks like you're not going to be able to hear again because it's not going to play. No, looks like it's not going to play. Oh, sorry guys. No, didn't work again. Sorry. That's all right. But she pretty much said that she was crying, saying that she just got the email and Engineers Australia approved her application. She almost gave up. She was really desperate. And I said to Erica, you know, you can do it. You've got some great experiences. And she was struggling because she couldn't really get it right. She watched all my classes and we caught up a few times in Zoom sessions and she did it. Last year, she sent me another message that she got her permanent visa. And this year, she got her Australian citizenship. So certainly very happy for her. So for those that just joined, I'm Gerson Ida, and for the last 14 years, I've been interviewing engineers, reviewing career episodes, so they could move forward and take the next step in the professional engineering journey. And now I'm teaching this formula, and my students are already getting the results. Some of them, they didn't know even how to start. Once they started, they didn't know how to finish. And when they finished, they didn't know if it was correct. So with my mentoring, they knew how to start, they knew how to finish, and they knew that was properly done. And they overcame their fears. and they're writing the reports confidently towards the ultimate goal, which is to get Engineers Australia approval and be recognized as engineers here in Australia. And I already have several success stories, 40 so far. And in the previous slides, previous workshops, I was presenting each of them, but I was taking too much time, so I compile all the messages that I got from my students. Some of them, they even they sent me a screenshot of the Engineers Australia outcome letter, and I shared the good news with the other students. So those are the screenshots of the messages that I got from my students. So, and every single student, I remember them. I can see how things change in their lives. One was saying that he was working. This one, yeah, Peterson. He was working in one company, and then the day that he got his validation, his boss said, I will now hire you as an engineer. He was working with something else. There's another one, a telecommunications engineer. He was working in IKEA. And when I saw the comment that telecommunication engineer is not really available in Perth, maybe it's not available in the telecommunication industry. But this telecommunication engineer, he was working in IKEA in the storage, moving boxes and those sort of things. The day that he got validated, he said that very soon he was then hired in a different position to work with the systems in IKEA. So from operating forklifts and moving boxes, those sort of things, he ended up then going to I think the IT area of IKEA with the systems and everything, and he got promoted to that job. So all those stories that I hear from my students, and I'm just happy that one way or another, I was a little bit part of it, and I'm very happy with them. And you can be the next one validated engineer in Australia. As I said, I'm opening registration for my validation formula. The QR code will take you to the page. And I say validation formula because I put together a methodology and a step-by-step, which is kind of a formula. If you follow the methodology, I cannot guarantee 100%, but it's got strong chances that you will be validated because you will write the right thing, what you need to do in the right way. Obviously, you need to have the substance. You need to have the experience, the engineering experience to write. If you don't have anything, if you went to the university and you didn't study, you didn't do any projects, you didn't do any academic activities, and then you didn't work, well, then it's going to be difficult. I cannot make miracles, but if you have experience that is usable for the validation, I will make sure that you explore that experience and you use it in the right way. Validation Formula then is my online mentoring program to teach you how to learn a structured method to validate your engineering degree in Australia. And with the special offer that I'm going to give you tonight, I will also include an absurd amount of 9 extra bonuses. It's going to be totally for free, those bonuses that will help you in the validation process and in the search for a job. I say that because I've written myself 3 ebooks to help you to get a job here in Australia. Jerson, but do you work as a recruiter? No, I'm an engineer, but in my company, I recruited already lots and lots of engineers and project managers. And I participated as a chair of the panel in dozens and dozens of recruitment process, and I analyzed already thousands of applications. And I could see good applications, I could see bad applications. And I compiled that experience in 3 ebooks that I include in my mentoring program, because I'm pretty sure that my students, they will become an engineer, and then next step is going to get a job as an engineer. So the 9 extra bonuses, what are they? Bonus number 1 is the VIP group in Telegram and WhatsApp. That's what I said. My students, they part of this VIP group in Telegram and WhatsApp. I'm trying to migrate from Telegram to WhatsApp. Looks like WhatsApp people use more. And when they have questions, they send a question in the group. I answer the question in the group. And the beauty of that is when I answer the question in the group, everybody gets the answer. So everybody gets the benefit of the answer. It's not just for one particular student. So, because the question of one student potentially can be the question of another student or other students. And when I answer the question, everybody gets the answer and everybody gets the benefit. So the normal price to be in that group, $850, you get that for free. Bonus number 2, 3, and 4, they are the ebooks that I wrote. And it's not artificial intelligence, it's from my brain, because I've written these ebooks a few years ago. Didn't have even an AI available and those sort of things. So 7 tips to improve your CV, because I've seen some CVs that are so bad, so bad. The other ebook, 7 tips for preparing a cover letter. Here in Australia, a cover letter is very, very important. Every time that I'm in the panel chair, I read the cover letter first. If the cover letter is rubbish, I don't even read the CV. So the cover letter needs to be a very good cover letter that will catch the attention of the panel members. The other ebook is 7 tips on how to behave in interviews. If you have a good CV, if you have a good cover letter, but you go to the interview and then you blank, you don't go well with the interview, you're not going to get a job. So I've got some 7 tips on how to behave to become a successful candidate. And all of those ebooks, the normal price, if you go to my website, they're $25, you get that for free. Bonus number 5, question and answer sessions. That's what I'm saying, that every 2 months I do a live session. The next question and answer sessions is going to be Saturday. I think it's Saturday or Sunday. It's either Saturday or Sunday. I think it's Sunday morning, the 8th of June. For 90 minutes, 1.5 hours, I will be live with my students. I send invitations to my students. Those that can attend, attend. Those that they can't, but they can't. And that's why I do every 2 months, because some people, they can this weekend, others they can't. And others they can just in 2 months' time, depending on the timing. So every 2 months, I do a live session with my students, and I answer questions with them. Bonus number 6, skeleton action plan using 5W2H methodology. It's just a simple spreadsheet where it gives you a little bit of a guidance that how you can put your action plan to be able to organize yourself. Remember, 80% organization planning, 20% writing. Bonus number 7 is compilation of comments and feedback. This is one of the most valuable bonus, I think, that my students, they get. I do provide comments and feedback to my students, and I compiled in a document. This document has 13 pages of comments and feedback that I provided to students. So when you read those comments and feedbacks, there are a lot of things that you should be doing, other things that you shouldn't really be doing. And if you follow those comments, if you don't do what not supposed to be doing, and if you do what is supposed to be doing, you don't need even me to review your reports because your reports will be 100%. And I can tell you because sometimes I've got students that they ask me to have a read and give them feedback. And depending on my availability, I do. It can take 1, 2, 3 weeks, but I read and I give feedback. But others, they just ring me saying, oh, yeah, Jess, I got approved. And I didn't even know that they were applying because they never spoke with me. They just followed my methodology, went to the portal, and did everything by themselves that they had to do. Bonus number 8, the career episode planning and summary statement assistant. It's a spreadsheet with some tools to help you to organize yourself, how you can organize your experiences. How am I going to choose the right experience? How do I organize the examples for each competency? All of those tools to help you to organize yourself. And bonus number 9 is meeting with the validation form students. It's a catch up with the students. I invite students that already been approved and the other ones that are still in the journey. Those that can attend, they attend, obviously, and then they share some of their experiences as well. So if you add up all of these bonuses, the total amount is going to be 1,800, but you get that for free in the program. And how much is the mentoring program? When you go to my website, validationformula.com, you see that the investment, the standard investment is $1,747. Is that cheap? Is that expensive? I don't know. Just know that I think that's a fair amount for the quality and value that you're going to get in my mentoring program. I've seen people charging 700. I've seen people charging 3,000, 4,000. But I think $1,747 is a fair amount. However, but because you participated in the workshop, I'll give you the super discount of $600 just until Saturday. So you've got until pretty much between today or tonight until Saturday, 3.5 days, to take advantage of the $600 discount, which means that you're just going to pay $1,147. So 11:59 in Brisbane time, Saturday, 31st of May, you get the $600. For some whatever reason, you procrastinated or you forgot about it, you left for tomorrow and then the day after tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, and then you wake up on Sunday and say, oh, Jesus, I need to enroll in the mentoring program. You go there, discount is gone. It's going to be back to $1,747. So if you're going to do it, do it. Don't procrastinate. And I'm going to talk to you about the warranty. If you don't like it, if you think that didn't improve your ability to get a better CDR, I'll give you back 100%. I'm going to show you my warranty there. As I said, from Sunday, the discount will be gone and the investment will be $1,747. A lot of people, they say, oh, Jerison, I missed the date and, can I get a discount? I say, well, if you wait until the next workshop, yeah, I'll probably going to give the discount again. So if you're going to wait until Friday, put an alarm so you don't forget it. And the enrollments, I'm going to close next week on Wednesday, the 4th of June, because the weekend, I'm going to have the first live class with my students, the new students and the current students. So I need to finish enrollments on the 4th so I can organize myself and obviously have the first live session of question and answers on the weekend. So the special offer is a real win-win strategy. You supported me by having participated in the workshop, and I'll help you with an offer that you cannot decline. I'll give you the discount of $600 for having participated in the workshop, plus the 9 bonuses. Just the bonuses again is worth $1,800. You will get the bonuses for free. So the investment is just $1,147. If you access my website, Validation Mentoring, I'm going to show you here the site so you can see that. See if I can put in here, validationmentoring.com. There are information about the bonuses there, so you read that. There's a whole heap of information. There are details of the bonuses are there. And then there's the warranty. The warranty, you have 30 days warranty. If after you watch the classes, you think that my mentoring program is not worthwhile, is rubbish, you just need to send me an email, attach your CDR so I know that at least you tried, and saying that, yeah, sorry, Jerson, but your mentoring program didn't add any value to me. I would like my money back. And whatever you paid, I'll give you 100%. I'm not even going to discount the fee, the credit card fees, and the fees that I get discounted when you pay. If you paid $1,147, I'll give you back $1,147. You can see some testimony videos of some of my students, and my partners, they have discount. For example, if you are already a customer of Rafael Sobrera, he's got 20% discount. So his clients that already engage him to do consultants, they've got 20% discount. On the other hand, if you enter in my mentoring, he said that he's going to give you 1 consulting for free. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. And then I'm just going to quickly share with you the portal, the mentoring portal, validation formula. So that is my mentoring program. It has the pages there, a little bit about me, some testimonies, but then what my students, they see and what you will see. You view the mentoring program. I got to log in. You will see, is that the one? Yeah, I think that's the right. You will see how it is the mentoring program. How are the videos there? All the modules are here. The bonuses are all here for you to download straight away. And you can watch the classes. In the previous lesson, I gave 6 practical examples of CPD so you can relate to your own experience and build your CPD report. And it's going to be very, very important if I demonstrate to you. I can just click on reliability. So these are how the classes are there. And I've got some tutorials as well. This is, I think, a tutorial using some of the tools.
Welcome to this tutorial, and I'll be showing to you how to best use the 16 competencies table. Downloads. There are and there is another set, and this is and also
so that's a full tutorial how to use
of my structural example in our spreadsheet.
How to use the tools that I give available to you. There are some summaries. So all the 25 modules are in here. Some keynotes as well. Every block of modules, I give keynotes, and the keynotes, they also are like videos where I
Hi,
explain
I
the
hope you have
keynotes.
enjoyed modules 19 to 25. And in those modules, we saw the 6 competencies based on the organization under this competency, sufficient evidence of your engineering work. The other concept was, what is pictorial? It is when expressed in pictures or illustrated.
So this is what you're going to get if you join my mentoring program. So that's how my students, they get the step-by-step because it's all structured. They know what to do. They can watch at their own time. And when they have questions, they ask questions to me. I said that the offer expires on Saturday. I spoke about the warranty. What else? You're certainly not at any risk. Simple as that. If you didn't like it, if you think it didn't improve your CDR, you send me an email with a copy of your CDR saying that it didn't help, and I will return. The important thing is that if you have a dream, you need to do something to start your dream transformation into reality. And being recognized as an engineer professional in Australia, it is your start. And the investment, it looks like a lot. It is a lot. But it could be the trigger for you to become an engineer, to get a job as an engineer, to start earning 60, 70, 80, 100, $150,000 a year. Have a good quality of life, become a resident here in Australia, become an Australian citizen, start your family maybe. I'm from Brazil. I started my family here in Australia. I came married, but started a little family with our daughter here. And I cannot see myself going back to Brazil and have our daughter living in Brazil because the conditions that we have here with safety, security, those sort of things is something that I just went to Brazil in March. And yeah, it's different. So don't waste your time and secure a place with your irresistible offer. As I said, the video lessons will be available as soon as you join the mentoring program. And right now, you have the chance to enroll in my mentoring program and get the $600 discount and the 9 bonuses there. I'm just going to put here the website if you want to check it out. It's in the chat. And believe it or not, all you have to do is to beat procrastination and take a small step towards your goal. And between you and me, I know that you want to validate your engineering qualification. If you didn't want to, you probably would have already removed yourself from my mailing list. Why you need to keep getting my emails if you're not interested to become an engineer? So I know that you want to become an engineer, and I know that it's difficult because, should I trust you? I just got to know you now. I'm in Australia. Next week is going to be 20 years that I am in Australia. If you Google my name, you will find myself in there. You'll see that I work for the Queensland government. I have a reputation here in Australia, and I'm not going to damage my reputation doing something dodgy. You go to my YouTube channel, I've got more than 300 videos in my YouTube channel. I didn't start today. I started this project back in 2019. And I don't want to make up myself you know. But I think in Australia, I probably one of the engineers that donated most of time for free, helping people to become an engineer in Australia. I dedicated more than 5,000 hours for free. If you count all my videos there, all the time, it's more than 5,000 hours. Workshops. This is workshop number 29. I've done already 29 online workshops like this. Just in workshops, 6, 7, almost 10 hours a workshop times 29, that's already 300 hours for free. So if I really wanted to make money with this, I would be doing free one-on-one consulting. $300 an hour, 30 hours, $9,000, and a lot of people would pay for it. But I know that's difficult. $9,000 is a lot of money. So, but I can't do for free because when it's free, people don't value. And I had to invest in softwares and equipment and etc. Don't miss your opportunity. From Sunday, it's going to be back to $1,797. You have until midnight Saturday to get the $600 discount and the 9 bonuses. If you are in question, if you have any questions, you're probably in one of my WhatsApp groups. Send me a WhatsApp message or in Instagram, send me a direct message and I will answer the question to you. So you can visit my website, validationmentoring.com. You can read the details. When you click the button, it's going to go to the validation form portal. You just need to fill the form with your details. You can pay by credit card or bank transfer. If it is bank transfer, you will get an email with my bank details. Once you do the bank transfer, when I see the credit, you will get your access to the portal. If you pay by credit card, when the transaction is completed, you will get access straight away. So click the button on the page and enroll now. You can pay by transfer or credit card. You just need to beat procrastination and make it happen. Think about it. And I'm going to do now the 15 minutes of free consulting draw. I think you guys are waiting for it. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to I'll see how many comments I have, and then I'm going to share the screen of the draw. I'll share the other screen. I'll stop presenting this. And I'm going to share this one. It's going to be 15 minutes of free consulting. Confirm. And remember, you need to be here in the live session, and you have to have done the the tasks. So I'm going to hide this one. So I'll refresh and get the winner. And the winner, potential winner is Net. And I think I saw Net in the live session. Yeah, looks like she is there. So Net, if you are in the live session, can you write in the comments that you're here? Yay! Yeah, Net Barut. Check if we've done the things. So Net, she's following me. I'll follow her back. She liked the post. She marked somebody, Naya Barut, and she's written, I will become an engineer in Australia. Yeah, congratulations, Net. You are the lucky winner of the 15 minutes of free consulting. And I will contact you in Instagram so we can schedule our session next week. And for those ones that didn't win, I encourage you guys to attend the live session as well, because the questions that I probably going to get from Net is most certainly going to be your question as well, and you can be benefited from the answer. So I think there's some questions in the chat. Gerard is asking, can we rewatch the session again? I think so. It will be available in Instagram, in my profile. Sessions 1 and 2, they already available there. So this session, I think it will be also available there. Mr. Gerson, can we have the recording because I have missed both the previous session? Thanks. Yeah, if you go to my profile in Instagram, lives number 1 and live number 2, it's also available there. And my YouTube channel, I think live number 2 is there. Live number 1, we had a problem, couldn't put in YouTube, but yesterday's live is in YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I encourage you to consider subscribing. And Nat is asking, do you review our documents before applying in your mentoring group? I don't promise, I don't market that I'm going to review the documents, but I'd say that every time that my students, they ask me to have a look and provide feedback, I always do. I actually have one student that finished and messaged me today. I'm actually going to do a video call. We're going to run his reports together, and I'm going to read with him and make some comments. That way, when I do this video call with my students, it gets recorded. I then put in my YouTube channel as obviously private, and I give the link to the students, and the students, they can get the feedback and watch the feedback session as many times as they want. Sometimes I'm a little bit busy. I cannot do this straight away, but I will make some effort to provide the feedback. And Lucas saying, Gerson, can I apply for civil engineering in Jeans Australia and draftsperson in VetaSAS at the same time? Well, I believe you can. They're two separate assessing authorities. The process are different. So I think for VetaSAS, you gotta demonstrate experience. In Engines Australia, you don't. So, but you can. Pretty sure that you can apply for either way. Draftsperson, I have students that they applied for draftsperson with Engineers Australia. So it's not just VetaSets that they do draftsperson. Engineers Australia also does draftsperson as well. All right. Well, if you don't have any more questions, I would like to thank you guys very much for your participation in the workshop. If you have any questions about my mentoring program, I encourage you to contact me either via WhatsApp, email, or in the Instagram direct message. And don't forget that if you really want to do the mentoring, don't procrastinate. Enroll as soon as you can. If not, you'll forget. Saturday is going to be the end of the discount. Sunday, you will regret yourself. Okay? And for the new students, our next encounter will be next weekend. I'm going to send the invitation in the VIP group and in an email as well. So for 1.5 hours, I will be available to answer any questions that my students they have. I hope that you have enjoyed the workshop. I hope that you have learned how you can become an engineer in Australia. You understand now the process, the complexities, the documentation needed. And I wish you all the best and all the good luck in your journey to become an engineer in Australia. And I hope to see you somewhere here in Australia working as an engineer. See ya and bye bye.